Lions Club for putting on this speech competition. I'd like to give a special thank you to the chair. My name is Mariah Steiger, and the name of my speech is The Melting Pot. Take a moment to think about how many generations ago your family set foot on this continent. All of us are here due to immigration. The settling of America began with an unprecedented idea. The idea was that people can join together and agree to govern themselves by making laws for the common good. This was first exhibited by the Pilgrims, English separatists wanting to separate from the Church of England, who came to America in 1620 on the Mayflower, landing in Plymouth, Massachusetts. They established the Mayflower Compact, one of the first forms of social government. As people began to immigrate to the colonies from all over Europe, they came for different reasons. Religious persecution forced many out of their previous homelands. Others were drawn to the unsettled land for economic prosperity. Still others were forced to come through indentured servitude. Enslaved Africans came over with technology for rice cultivation. The Irish helped build the first Union Pacific Railroad. Immigrants like Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller helped boom our economy in the early 20th century. Chinese immigrants helped build our Atlantic Pacific Railroad. And thus, the melting pot reference ensued. We are a heterogeneous society that has been able to melt together into a harmonious whole through a common culture, Americanism. The metaphor of America as a melting pot idealized the process of immigration and colonization by which different nationalities, cultures, races were to blend into a new, virtuous community, and it was connected to utopian visions of the emergence of the American new man. John de Crèvecoeur was fascinated with this emerging identity of the American. In his Letters from an American Farmer in 1782, Crèvecoeur writes that the American is one who, leaving behind him all ancient prejudices and manners, receives new ones from this new mode of life he has embraced. The government he obeys and the new rank he holds all leads to this new identity. Here individuals of all nations are melted into a new race of man whose labors and posterity will one day cause great changes in the world. Today, we seem to have forgotten how we got here. All of our ancestors, unless you are of Native American descent, are immigrants. Yet today, we are asking our government for stricter immigration laws, asking to keep out people who want the same things that our ancestors did. But even more than that, our reasoning is flawed. We say they are taking our jobs, that they aren't productive members of society, that they take our services and do not pay our taxes. So let's change that. In 2009, a study by the Cato Institute, a free market think tank, found that legalization of low-skilled illegal resident workers in the U.S. would result in a net increase in the U.S. GDP of $180 billion over 10 years. 60% of Americans collect more in government services than they pay in, which also reflects on immigrants. In any event, the typical immigrant and his children will pay a net of $80,000 in their lifetime, more than they collect in government services. It is simply absurd not to capitalize on this statistic. The New Americans, Economic, Demographic, and Physical Effects of Immigration, a 1997 study on the demographic, economic, and fiscal consequences of immigration to the United States by the National Research Council, notes that although some immigrant workers compete with domestic workers for some low-skilled jobs, many immigrants specialize in activities that would otherwise not exist in that area. And thus they are performing services that otherwise would not exist. They can be beneficial for all domestic residents. That means that we in wine country are reaping the rewards of a successful industry in part due to our immigrants willing to work and pick our grapes. Low-skill, low-wage immigration does not, on balance, lower the wages of most domestic workers. And what about students who come to our country to get a college education? We have students come here from abroad to study in our colleges and universities. But as soon as they obtain advanced degrees, we send them back home to compete against us. They take the skills they acquired in our prestigious universities back to their home country and design the next form of clean energy, or they make the next breakthrough in disease research. Furthermore, these workers and students who have come to our country to make a better life for themselves, to take advantage of opportunities that weren't available to them in their politically oppressive or drug-ridden countries, yeah, they're coming for the same reasons that the Pilgrims did. And the same reasons that our great-great-great-grandparents did. The issues of immigration will have to be addressed. We will need a clear immigration policy. But as we discuss and debate, we should think about the first settlers. America was made great because of our diverse background. Because we didn't expel talent from our borders, we welcomed it. The America of yesterday can remind us that we should ensure that any responsible and talented person who plays by our rules that we have created can contribute to our economy and help enrich our nation. Let us thank our ancestors who chose to come here for the lives and opportunities we have today, and let us understand that immigrants today are looking for the same things. Thank you.
Very nice. How about